So this is what I wanted to talk about. The episode was bad, but what makes it even worse is the behind the scenes stuff where David Benioff, he goes, "Well, Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet, but 5 minutes ago she was devising a plan on how to like combat the fleet, and it was on the map. Like, how could she forget it?
Right,
Like, it's
with
right
all
there."
with all of her advisors there.
And what even irks me off is what really irks me is that, okay, what's the director that you said is like has a hard on for like bringing back stuff from previous seasons into the current?
Berman.
Was it Brian Cogman?
Brian
Is that the guy?
Cogman. Brian Cogman.
Right.
Brian Cogman. Yeah.
See, here's the thing. You're a huge fan of Roman history, so am I. And even in even ancient battles and all that stuff, you would always send out a scout to find out enemy troop positions, if there's a trap coming, ambush,
Right.
terrain, all that stuff. That's just basic warfare. You send a scout ahead of time to just survey the area to make sure everything you're walking into is nice and solid. And we've seen them using scouts before in previous Season 1, Tywin sends a scout to count Stark troop forces, and Robb captures the guy, lets him go, and then, makes Tywin think he's coming for him, but actually goes to Jaime instead. Yeah. In Season 3, Dany herself kind of scouts out when the Second Sons arrive to assist the Yunkish. So they've used scouts before. Why are they not using scouts now? You said something incredibly hilarious that I will always love about Season 7, Episode 1, when Dany lands on Dragonstone. She just walks in there willy-nilly.
Right.
Cersei could have sent an assassin with a crossbow and fucked her up right there.
There could have been 10 people left over from Stannis. She should have expected some of Stannis' forces, and she goes walking in first. Imagine
yeah.
one of Stannis' castellan just stabs her. Gotcha!
And it's just, that's what really irks me, is that, nobody uses scouts anymore. Nobody's using, actual formations and troop composite. Nobody's using any of this stuff anymore. They're just doing stuff, and they're just, the story and the script have to be stupid for the sake of getting Dany to go crazy, I guess.
And that's the thing. I mean, even with that stupid Dragonstone thing, that just overly ceremonial, self-congratulatory fucking scene, say Stannis was dumb enough to just take everything, not even leave one person behind. He packs it all up and leaves. Okay, in the real world, some sort of fucking fisherman squatter would fucking move into that castle.
Right.
And she would Dany would bust open the doors, and there would be a bunch of squatters in the corners being using a Stannis banner as a blanket, and there's no way it would be empty. It's just there's just.
Not to mention, the one thing that's always bothered me is, why did she even land in Dragonstone? If you look at a map of where Slaver's Bay is, it's in the southernmost part of Essos. She would have to go west,
right,
where she would eventually hit Volantis, and then. Right. Why wouldn't she just go to Dorne? It's right there.
She'd have to consciously choose not to land in Dorne, where her allies are, in order to go there. And
she would have to go north.
Right, and it's the same. It's the same here. Dany is choosing to go. She's choosing to fly a dragon over water, rather than taking it over land, where a dragon can
Mm-hmm.
rest and eat. She's purposely choosing this perilous task of going over water for some reason. You think the reason is to protect her fleet from something, but it's just, no, she's just flying with it,
or she wants to be the scout herself. I don't.
Right, which she does, a pretty shitty job, but yeah.
Right.
And of all the,
I will say this, though. I will say, I do, for as long as they've been absent, the Greyjoys have always been kind of shitted on by the showrunners. The showrunners do have that bias. I mean, there's been plenty of people complaining that the showrunners hate Stannis and his character for some reason.
Yeah.
And it does become apparent after a while. But the Greyjoys have always been shitted on. And I am kind of glad that Euron comes in as someone who knows how to use a fleet of ships and how to wreck stuff up. I like that. I like that Euron is able to come in here and fuck everything up. But what I don't like is how he's able to. I don't like is how they make him almost invincible. And then at the very last at the very next episode they make him not as invincible
uninvincible,
anymore.
right?
Yeah.
Had they I mean, that's the biggest contradiction, right? Is that suddenly these unstoppable dragons are neutralized by scorpions, and it's like, okay, fine, we're gonna accept that, and then you're gonna undo it the next episode immediately. Because
You know, it's funny. I don't know if you remember this. Season 6, episode 9, The Battle of the Bastards. The first half of the entire episode is the Battle of Fire in Marine. And it takes 3 dragons at the same time to fire up one ship. And it takes them like a couple of minutes. I don't know if you remember this. It takes them a couple of minutes to set it on fire. Come to this fucking episode 5, she just flies by them, and Drogon can just sneeze, it blows the
Boom.
fuck up.
fucking all 1,000 ships are in the same place, and they all get burned. They all get burned at once. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh god, it's bad. Not to mention, you know, the ridiculousness of like only being able to catch Missandei, but like nobody else.
Right.
And just the weirdness. So I will say that the diplomatic scene between Qyburn and Tyrion.
That was kind of cool. I didn't mind that.
No, I didn't mind the conversation between Qyburn and Tyrion. I thought that was fine. But the weirdness of it is the whole like standing out in a field where it seems like they could be hit, and Tyrion walking to where he can clearly be hit, and being able to hear each other over, you know, these incredibly long. Like if it's a short distance to be heard, why aren't they getting killed? If it's a long distance where they can't be killed, how can they be heard? And all of these things, like the whole thing kind of just distorts space, and it doesn't feel right in that sense.
They had a bunch of scorpions aiming right at them. Cersei could have Cersei could have ended this right there, but she chose to be a Charlie Chaplin mustache villain, and, you know, I'm going to kill your friend in front of you. And I'm going to laugh. Like, it was so stupid. Just open fire. It's right there. Just right there. Just shoot her right there. What are you going to do? Just aim for her dragon, and then as she's running away, you know, send in the men on horses to run them down. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Like,
the battle was won, you asshole. You had them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like a Bond villain at the end, right? You know? Mm-hmm. Like, mwahahaha. I am not rational. Ha ha ha.